Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're building a multi-level cafe with a handful of other activities I'll explain in just a minute. But because I hate clickbait as much as the next person, here's my big secret. You ready? That's right, less than a minute into the video. Here it is. My kid is disabled. Will be living with my husband and I or some other full-time care arrangement for the rest of his life. Level of disabled. And we're going to talk about that today and the different ways it is affected and will continue to affect content. I am reading from a script for some of this as well, so if at any point I sound a little bit more robotic, that's why. I'm also going to talk about the build so you know what's going on, but before all of that, I want to set a couple of expectations about this video. I will be sharing a lot in generalities and vague terms. I will not be telling you specific symptoms or the exact diagnoses. I will not be sharing photos, videos, or audio of my son in this video. If you've been around the channel for a minute, you know that the Gable tier channel members get early access or extended cuts to each video. They get early access to this one, not an extended cut. There is not additional information about my child behind a paywall. That's gross. They did get early access though, because they're one of the big reasons that this content is able to continue, and I really appreciate that. So Gable Gang, thank you so much for supporting the channel, the content, and just I appreciate you very much. Anyway, but in case you're wondering if you'd get extra information if you gave me some money, no. No. I did also consider not listing this video as monetized just because monetizing off your kids is yucky, but I set at minimum 15% of my gross revenue from these videos aside for the kid for his long-term care. So I am leaving it monetized, but like there's not information behind a paywall. So hopefully that makes sense. That's all out in the open now. So now that we know about that, let's talk about the build so you know what we're working on as I yap at you about my amazing kid. We're building in Sulani, as you've already figured out. I was inspired to build this based off of a brief conversation in our Discord. One of the Discord members was trying to build a cafe on a fairly large lot in Oasis Springs, and they were wondering if they could make the cafe activities like take up enough space that it would justify building on a 40-30 lot. And I said I just had this vision of this like multi-level sort of building into a mountain, but with a few waterfalls and plants and things, where the landscaping would take up a lot of space and it would look very large and grand, but then the actual playable area would not be so vast that the cafe would be awkward. If you've built cafes and other public lots in The Sims before, you know that if you make them too big, only a certain number of Sims spawn on the lot. So when you make it too large, it's just awkward and it doesn't feel very full. But then you can't just build them too small because then the lot doesn't look right. You know, the lot doesn't feel fully fleshed out. So we were talking about doing that. They ended up doing something else, but I couldn't get the idea out of my head. And then I was remembering Sulani and how much I love building there because it's so sunny and beautiful. So that's what we're doing. For the landscaping, I did a lot of debug. I have Twisted Mexie's mod Better Build By, which is incredibly helpful, especially for doing stuff like this. So that's where all that stuff came from. I had a lot of fun putting together the structure for this. Now, there are technically only 2 floors. So the first floor, if you just are showing the first floor, you're going to see a couple of staircases, and you'll see that dock in the back, which has a spot for you to bring a water vehicle. And then the second level, all of those platforms are all on the second floor. So you don't have to worry about switching between floors or losing track of your sim. If you're showing the second level, you'll be able to see the entire build just all at once. So that's how that works. The first level that you'll walk into has the cafe counter. You'll notice that I put up some rainbow starlights. We were calling them Skittles lights. I was sharing this build with the Discord for that part. Unfortunately, we were not able to continue tasting the rainbow as it became apparent when I was playtesting that we actually needed a real roof over the cafe counter for it to keep working in the rain. So a few things will change between what you see in the build and what you see in the final screenshots or what you saw in the playtesting. I had to make a few tweaks to make sure the lot was functional, but hey, that's why we playtest. So the version that's on the gallery, information down below, is fully playtested. It's great, it's wonderful, it's lovely, it works, and it's a little bit different than what you're seeing on screen. Anyway, so the first level is cafe. If you go up to the left, there is a bathroom there. I remembered not just one, I put 2 whole bathrooms in there, so a total of 3 toilets, not including the party bush, are on the lot. So that's great. And then if you just go directly back from the bathroom or from the cafe, there are 2 platforms there which each have seating. One of them's just seating, one of them's seating and also has a game table. And then the platform beyond that, the highest platform, has a busking station from City Living, also a real roof so that that won't fall apart or anything, handful of different seating areas, and a wedding arch because I thought with the like big stone arch in the background, a wedding arch in the foreground, you know, that could make some really nice pictures. So put that there so you can get married if you want. The next level down, the one that's like sort of just behind the rocks, I added a DJ booth and dance floor so you can also party out there. I believe if you switch the cafe counter out for a regular bar, it will qualify as a nightclub, but it will not actually qualify as a bar unless you also had a television somewhere. The lot rules are weird. I don't fully understand them, but that's okay. And then the next level down from that would be the dock at the very back. There's another bathroom down there. There are a couple of ladders so you can dock your water vehicles, jump off into the water, all that stuff. And I added a couple of loungers so you can lay out in the sun and tan, and a fireplace. I think that's about it for activities. Oh, I also added one of the fairy waystones just because I thought it looked cool. So that's what's on each level. So I'm really hoping that the lot will feel an appropriate level of busy while still also taking up that entire 40-30 space visually. It's a trick, but I think we did okay, and I was very excited to build this. One of the trickiest parts of the build was figuring out the bathrooms, because I didn't want to add any walls, but I ended up sort of needing to add walls because Sims won't use the bathroom if they don't perceive themselves as being in a separate room away from the other Sims, and I wasn't able to do that the way that I wanted to with gates, because any of the one-tile gates were too short and then you could see over it, and that's awkward. Yeah, so anyway, I did add a few walls, but the only actual walls on the lot are directly tied to the bathrooms. Everything else is just fences and columns and spandrels, or not spandrels, floor trim, roof trim, stuff like that. Really wanted to make it feel as outdoorsy as possible, but also function for you. If you guys do play this lot and you turn it into anything else, or you just redecorate, as always, please let me know. I'm on so many social media platforms. You can tag me places. If you're in the Discord, you can send pictures there. If you add hashtag sahmandbean to your uploads in the gallery, you can't really tag creators in the gallery, which is fine, but I do look up that hashtag every couple of months just to see what you guys are up to, and it's always super awesome to see what you've done with the different shells and stuff that I've uploaded. It makes me feel really happy to see that people are enjoying what I'm building. That's like the main reason I do this. I do it because I enjoy it, but it multiplies greatly the amount of joy I get out of making content, knowing that you also enjoy the builds. So I hope that you like this one, because it was so much fun and it was so pretty. Tons of different packs were used, but I do not believe I used any creator kits, so there's no marketplace content, and you don't need any of the mods that I used for the lot to function. It's purely just so I can get through the debug menu easier. So that's that. Now for the rest of the clickbait. So what's going on with the kid? Is this new? Blah, 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 blah. Again, I'm going to talk in generalities. I'm going to explain why I'm sharing this information now, why I didn't in the past. I'm not giving specific diagnosis. There are multiple. There will be more in the future, most likely, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. So was this a surprise? No, absolutely not a surprise. Some of the stuff we've known about literally like within hours of him being born. Other things were made more obvious as time passed, as is the case. None of it's curable. There was a small procedure we were able to do to correct one small issue, but beyond that, there's nothing really that can be done. That's it. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it's all right. With appropriate care, he's expected to live a long, happy life, and his life is very happy right now. He loves living, and I love watching him enjoy being alive. Like, that's the best part of being a mom, is watching him enjoy his life, So he's good. He is happy as a clam. But I didn't want to share that information with the internet broadly for a lot of reasons. Some of it's just like psychological processing on my part. It takes a long time to sort of come to grips with reality when you're pregnant. Especially, wasn't planning on getting pregnant either. We'd been married for just over a year, and then like, stuff's not happening that should be. Peas on a stick. Oh, good golly gracious. So all of a sudden, bam, surprise, you're having a kid and you're trying to catch up on parenting stuff, and you're reading and you're thinking about your future and you're planning, and like, oh, we should buy a house here, and are we going to do private school or public school or homeschool or what combination, and do we want to stay by this family or do I want to move to that family? And then the kid's born and you're like, oh dang, all of that planning that we just did means nothing, actually. Fun fact. So that was part of it. Just frankly, the time for us to sort out our own brains and figure out what was happening and get with family and figure stuff out. It's a lot. Also, I don't know if you know this, the internet is a hella judgy place. My word. The second you say something out there on the great worldly widely web, everybody just comes for your throat. And I don't want to deal with perfect parents. Parents who do everything perfectly, whose kids who have never had a single problem in a day of their lives. Also, different subsection of parents on the internet, the armchair doctors. If I share my specific diagnosis that my kid has, and he has multiple, right? So if I'm like, oh, my kid has such and such, and you're like, oh, well, my kid has such and so on, so you should do this and that'll fix it. And I'm like, cool, love that your kid has such and so on, but my kid has such and such. which is different. So different things must happen in order for our children to reach their respective independent individual goals in life, right? There's also the question of privacy for the kid, his own information to share as he sees fit when he believes that he wants to share that information. I share information about my own health problems because I'm an adult and I can make the informed choice to do so because I understand the consequences of the internet. Kids don't do that, and that's a big reason I'm not sharing the actual diagnosis or any very specific symptoms, and I will not be engaging with perfect parents and armchair doctors in the comments. This is your warning now. Not gonna happen. I also had a fear of sharing more than I intended. It could be easy for me, like I've already gone off script 80,000 times in this video. Very easy for me to just keep talking because I love him. He is the sun, the stars, the moon. He is everything. He is my entire universe. I adore my son. So it's really easy for me to just yap about him and how great he is because he's fantastic. But that runs the risk of sharing more information than I intended, and so I just chose to share nothing. Nothing seemed safer than sharing a little bit and accidentally unraveling the whole sweater. Case in point, my next set of bullet points is going through more specifics, and I've already covered like 3 of them earlier, so I can skip those. Anyway, yes, multiple diagnoses, more suspected. One we were able to sort of fix. The rest of them, no cure, just supports different things to do, give, administer, and so on. What's affected? Great question. Everything. Everything. Speech and language, fine and gross motor skills, behavior, cognition, potential for friendships, romance ships, jobs. Every single iota of his life is affected. And that's really hard to watch as a parent. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I pray and hope that you will never know. It is excruciating. But that's where we're at. Oh, that's not true. Okay, next bullet point, his growth. He is growing great. Every time we go to the doctor, they do these little numbers things. They're like, oh, he's this tall and this many pounds, and here's his growth chart. And he is just doing perfectly there. He's topping out the chart in height. He's right where he needs to be relatively relative to that with weight and like all that stuff. So he's growing wonderfully. He loves fruits and vegetables, prefers them to most candies. So that's wonderful. He is cooking there. He's great. And even with all these things, as far as actual like IQ goes, we're not seeing any evidence of an actual intellectual disability, which is great. He's sharp as a tack, even if the tack didn't quite come out of the mold right. So why am I even telling you this now if we've made it these 7 long years without a full explanation video? Well, the biggest reason is I am in constant fear that I'm going to say something that's going to betray the truth, then get caught up in trying to put together an answer on the spot and accidentally share more information than I wanted to, or say a thing that I think is appropriate, but then it's not. And then there's also a very good chance I've already done this and you guys have just been nice and not brought it up. Like I feel like there's a very good chance some of you have already figured this out from my assorted stories about my kid, despite my attempts to make him appear normal in my stories, if that makes sense. And that just weighs on me every time. I'm just scared that I'm going to say or do something and then you guys are going to be like, ha, what's wrong with your kid? And then I'm going to be caught up emotionally and confused and flustered. It's a lot. So if I can just have this video that I can direct people to if I do say something and people have questions, massive emotional weight off my shoulders. Similarly, that lets me be more honest and flexible with scheduling, which I'm going to get into in the next segment of the video in like literally 30 seconds. So that will also be a big weight off me and more content for you. Also, the emotional weight of me feeling like I'm lying all the time, even if it's coming from a good spot, not being completely honest hurts my brain. It makes me feel really bad and really guilty because I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm trying to do the opposite, right? And so just all of that emotional weight on myself, plus kids who have developmentally related delays. Some of them can be sort of hidden or masked with certain things that you can do as a parent when the kid is younger, but then as the kid gets older, it just becomes more and more obvious, and we're quickly getting to that point. So it's like it's a matter of time. So that's why we're here today. Examples and direct impact. That's my next header. So here's some examples of what's been going on and how that's impacted content, why I'm making this video, and then like what we can plan to see in the future. For example, this past winter, there were some issues with behaviors and accommodations at school. The kid just needed some extra help and support and troubleshooting. So I was going to the school multiple days a week, but because I didn't want to share that I was going to school multiple days a week, because that's a big red flag and people are going to figure out that something's wrong, I just didn't schedule streams during the day. That's why we weren't doing the save file anymore, which was our daytime stream series in the fall. But if I have this video out, I've opened the can of worms, I'll feel more comfortable scheduling those daytime streams again, because then if something happens, I could just be like, oh, kid needs me, gotta go, and you would already be aware aware, or I could again link this video, that that's just my life situation and we don't have to play this guessing game of what's going on. So I'll be scheduling daytime streams again when school starts. Some weeks we'll be able to stream completely uninterrupted. Other weeks we may have a few streams that I'll be leaving early, and that's just the way it's going to be. But we can all be okay with that together now. Also, example 2, some days, especially days where I'm around other kids, like at the school, the reality of my kids' assorted, I don't like calling them problems, but like that's what they are. My kids' assorted problems are more obvious, because if it's just us day to day, that's our normal. I don't even think about it. But then when I'm around other kids and I'm seeing what they can do, and I'm watching them go and do child things that my child just is physically incapable of doing, it's exhausting. Mentally, it hurts. And it makes doing gameplay really hard, especially gameplay with children. So that's been the primary reason that I've canceled some of our Rags to Riches streams, is because I just can't. Sometimes the reminder of what could have been just sucks. So we're not ending the Rags to Riches series, but if I ever cancel, I'm like, that's why. I'm just emotionally, I can't handle watching the very accurate childhood development milestones and stuff in the game that my kid will never see. Another thing, and this one's also related to live streams, I'll explain video stuff too in a second, but as you've noticed, his sleeping is affected. He pops out. If you've ever been in the streams, you're familiar with our parenting screen, which I toggle to quickly on occasion when I am presented with a parenting opportunity. Now, the husband does his best to help, of course, but sometimes you just need mom, and so I just have the general rule of thumb where if he comes out 3 times between breaks, we're done. Like, I'm just gonna go and take care of him because it's not fair to you to keep interrupting stream. But that's also one of those things where as he gets older, it's just gonna get more weird and obvious. A normal 7-year-old would have the capacity to understand mom's working. So if you need help, that's fine, but come out and be quiet. Don't talk on the microphone because internet and children shouldn't be on there, right? And we're not there, and we won't be there for some time, if ever. And that's just going to become more obvious as he gets older. So now you know. That's why he pops out from bedtime sometimes. I would like to keep streaming. I enjoy streaming, but we have to be on the same page with that because I'm not going to be able to tolerate or some days just emotionally handle comments and chats complaining or questioning him not acting his age because he can't. Now for videos specifically, I used to be able to record and edit when he was around. Some of my older videos, you'll hear him in the background, but he is now very interested in what I'm doing and he likes to help, which is super duper cute. I don't mind. He's adorable. I have him like hit certain keys for me. Like I'll have him toggle between my blade tool and the magnet tool when I'm in the editing program and stuff like that. And he loves it. He loves helping and it's wonderful. But if I'm trying to record, he likes to help me record. And at some point, the amount of work it takes to edit around that it's just too much. It distracts my focus, and with really intense series like the Build Like a Nerd series, where there's a lot of research that goes into that, the writing, the prep, the recording, like that is a hefty project. I just can't when he's helping. And when he's at school, I often use most of that time running errands and catching up on household things and just doing things that are more challenging when he's home and needs more interaction. I don't have the time to do it when he's gone, and I'm not capable of doing it when he's here. He is super cute though, I promise. It is adorable. But anyway, that's why the standard videos just haven't been happening. It's why I've been streaming more. Never planned on being a streamer, but here we are. It's easier for me to do the streaming, and it's really beneficial for me mentally to hang out with people. So that's just what we're going to keep looking like for a while. Also, I'm continuing to lose touch with what's normal for my kid's age. So I worry about sharing a story and then I have to overanalyze it and try and make sure that it sounds like something a normal 7-year-old would do. For example, he loves Bluey. Bluey's a great show. I love Bluey. He loves Bluey. I love that he loves Bluey. But a lot of 7-year-old boys are sort of like moving on from Bluey. So if I tell you how much he likes Bluey, I don't want to deal with a whole bunch of people coming at me with like, oh, but he's 7. He shouldn't be watching a baby show. He should be watching this big kid show. Like, no, actually, Bluey is still 110% appropriate for him to be watching. It's wonderful. We love watching Bluey together. We recently watched the episode The Beach, and then we went to the beach and we found a shell, just like Bluey, and it was a big deal, and it was super great and exciting, and that's not, like some 7-year-olds, sure, and that's lovely and that's wonderful, but we're seeing a trend away from that. You know, 7-year-olds are being exposed to more and more mature media, and we can have a separate conversation about that and my feelings about it. But yeah, I don't want to have to overanalyze everything because that's a big mental toll, and I don't want to share tons of stories about him either. Again, balancing privacy, but he's a big part of my life, so talking about him is going to show up. So finding that balance and all that jazz, I don't have to worry about accidentally presenting him as if he's not normal, because he's not. And if we all know that together, I can relax a little bit and share a cute story every now and then, you know? So I'm hoping that this video will help me more than anything. I really don't care about you guys that much. This video is for me. So moving forward, what's the plan? I've realized I've been talking for a long time and I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to keep streaming over producing videos. I love producing videos. If I were king and I could just solve all the problems in the world, I would be primarily a long-form content producer. I wouldn't be doing streams as much, but I really value the opportunity to interact with adults and talk about something other than my kid, because most of the time I'm interacting with adults, the kid's involved, and that's lovely and I love him, and also it is really, really good for my brain to think about something else sometimes. So we're gonna keep streaming over content because that's what works for me right now. And if you came here for the videos and you're not a fan of the streams, go be free. Go find another content creator. I totally understand that. This isn't where I planned on being. Nobody planned on this happening. And I don't want you to feel like tied up or like you owe me anything. You don't. I want you to find content that you enjoy. And if that's here, that is awesome. I'm super happy that you're here. And if it's not, that's okay. As I mentioned earlier, I'll also feel more comfortable scheduling streams during the school day when the school year starts, because I can just be more honest of like, oh, looks like the kid's having a rough day. I'm gonna go help out. Goodbye. And I don't have to pretend or make up this reason or be like, oh, he's sick again, which like kind of yes, but mostly no, you know? So that's nice because I really, really miss the save file building. I'm so excited to get back into that. Even if we have a couple streams that are only like an hour, you know, I could do that now. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Next bullet point. We're going to go through some seasons of higher care needs, like right now, and lower, like a year ago. It's just the way that it goes as different things happen and growth patterns and all that jazz. So the content may flex alongside that. The kid is more important to me than you are, as things should be. So that's just what we're doing. Also, there's a very good chance that I will never participate in a fundraiser. I have nothing against fundraisers. People have come against me already, even as small as we still are, for not doing fundraisers. So here's financial transparency. My first and foremost responsibility is to my kid. Currently 30 to 35% of income, depending on where it's from, because like sales tax and stuff, goes to taxes. State income tax, self-employment tax, federal income tax, sales tax, taxes. 15% of the gross goes to an investment account for Baby Bean for his long-term care, and then the rest of it goes back into the channel to get new packs and games like Paralives, cover the cost of hosting the website and the post office box, occasionally launching merch and doing giveaways, and also hardware and software upgrades, which a lot of that comes out of the Tiny Town streams, and I'm so thankful for that. So anyway, so that's like the money, and you're like, oh my gosh, how much money is that? It's not. It's just under 200 a month so far is the average for this calendar year. However, as of recording this video, I haven't actually received any income from Twitch, so I don't know what's going to change. But between YouTube, TikTok, Loaded, which is the discount game affiliate link, and merch sales through the website, just under 200 a month average. So it's not a lot of money. If we get to the point where we're rolling in the dough and bringing in thousands of dollars a month, maybe we'll do a fundraiser. I don't know. I don't expect to get that big. Like, that's not something that I really see happening reasonably, and I wouldn't want to do crazy amounts of fundraisers until I can get my most important funding goal, which is my child's long-term care taken care of, you know? So some people don't like that. You may call me selfish for that. I don't care. Genuinely do not care. For similar reasons, not doing politics. I spend hours of my energy every week researching and advocating and arguing and educating, just all on behalf of the kid. I cannot also engage in political conversations. I'm just not going to do it. My answer is no. Some people may also feel badly about that. Be free. There are lots of creators out there who will gladly participate in those discussions, and I support their ability to do so. I'm not going to, because I'm not going to do something I can't do well. Speaking of not doing things I can't do well, collaboration opportunities. Similar sized creators can take advantage of a lot more than I can, which is fine, and I'm not mad at them, but it is a question that I've been asked. I just can't. I refuse to take on a task I don't fully believe I can carry out to my standards, and right now that's pretty much nothing. Oh well. And finally, one more time, if you're not comfortable with any of this, I understand. I'm not a typical content creator. I don't have a lot of time to watch what other content creators are doing. I don't know what the big thing is. I don't know the general vibe of creators and stuff out there. If you don't like stuff here, if you came for the videos and you're not a fan of the streams, so you decide to just go find somebody else, I totally understand that. Please don't feel like you owe me watch time just because we were able to spend time together in the past. I know that we have a lot of, and I appreciate and love all of you, a lot of neurodiverse people in this community, and I love you. So I want to just make it explicitly clear. I will not be upset if you take your viewage somewhere else because this channel is not the channel for you anymore. So I want to put that one out there. I'm really thankful that recently I have not had any sort of harassment about not involving myself in fundraisers and things. Believe it or not, that was a season where I was getting a lot of comments about like, why don't you fundraise this? Why don't you bring attention to that? This is my only income. I don't have a day job. This is an exclusively self-funding hobby, and I'm very thankful to all of you for making that a possibility. The members, the subscribers, the viewers, the ad revenue, the super chats, just all of that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But that means that I don't have that like extra room in my budget to do anything outside of that, and some people have called me very selfish for that, and I'm okay with that because I'm taking care of my kid. I also have a lot of feelings about how parents involve children in content, and other people have feelings about how children are involved in content, and if this video makes you really uncomfortable and you don't want to be associated with people trying to make money off their kids, that is 110% not what I was trying to do with this video at all. So I'm really sorry if that's the impression you got. And I also, like, yes, if somebody's trying to make money off their kids, please unsubscribe, block them, go away. That's gross. That's the end of my bullet points. So thank you for watching. I have screenshots, what you're probably already seeing because I talked for a lot longer than I planned on. Whoops-a-daisy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for helping me keep my head on straight. I cannot overstate how insanely beneficial to my own mental clarity, my sanity, my mood, everything being able to make these videos and hang out with you guys has been over these last several years. Hands down, this is the best thing that I have done for myself through all of this, and because of that, I'm able to be a better mom to my kids. So thank you. Thank you for making this a possibility. Once again, the build is available on the gallery and the information's down below. If you have questions, you can leave them in the comments. I may or may not respond depending on how emotionally overwhelmed this video is. I'll probably have to come back in a couple weeks to fully respond to comments, but I wanted to get this out there, so now I don't have to think about it anymore. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye!